Hi, my name's Scott Benson, and I work with deaf children at Tripod School in Burbank. I'm also a student at California State University, Northridge, where I am studying deaf education. Because of my experience growing up deaf, I feel I can make a positive contribution in this area. I was asked to introduce this year's House Ear Institute Young Adult Summer Work Program videotape. For 6 weeks each summer, the House Ear Institute employs hearing-impaired high school and college students to help them gain job experience. Each person is assigned a job in a specific department of the Institute, the House Ear Clinic, or St. Vincent Medical Center. One of their special projects is to learn how to produce a videotape. Under supervision, they learn to work together with the same responsibility of a professional video crew. They write, direct, shoot, light, and participate in the editing process. This year, the junior staff decided to examine the social issue between deaf and hearing teenagers. They wanted to find out how well integrated and accepting each group is of the other, both socially and in the classroom. The video production is titled Hearing and Deaf Youth, Friends or Foes. Our hearing impaired staff interviewed hearing students in a local high school that has an ongoing mainstream program with hearing impaired students in a hearing classroom. The goal was to try to gain insight and hopefully educated responses from hearing students whose previous experience should have increased their awareness of the hearing impaired. Our junior staff then responded to the same question as they applied to themselves. 6 questions were asked of both the hearing students and our staff. The first question was, do you make an effort to have hearing impaired friends? And is it worth the effort? Here's what they had to say.
I enjoy meeting hearing impaired friends. I have lots of them and I don't see any difference in it.
I've been going to school with them since I was in kindergarten, so I've made a couple. They weren't always like my best friends because it was kind of hard to become very good friends with them, but I have a couple friends, like I say hi to them in the student store and stuff like that.
I don't really make a lot of effort to, become friends with the hard of hearing or the deaf.
Because they're interesting people and they're different from regular people. It's nice to know different kinds of people.
Now, let's listen to how our staff responded to the question, is it worth the effort to make hearing friends?
Yes, it is worth the effort to make hearing friends. Like I go to Van Nuys High School, where I'm the only deaf student there. And so therefore, I have made a lot of hearing friends who respect me. And I respect them because we understand each other. I teach them sign language, and they teach me how to socialize with hearing people.
It's easier to make deaf friends than it is to make hearing friends, but I can make hearing friends if I wanted to.
Yes, I could make, or I would like to communicate with hearing people if hearing people knew how to sign.
Yes, I do make the effort because I find that when I mingle with my deaf friends, I enjoy that. But I have so few of them. And when I go out into the hearing community, the hearing world, and make friends, there's a wide variety to choose from and learn and experience with. That's what I really appreciate the most, the diversity of experiences that I get from with my hearing friends.
I try to make the effort to have hearing friends. It's just a lot easier to have deaf friends, but I like the challenge and trying to make hearing friends.
Since not-a-serving business was my first hearing, it is not a question of having made hearing first, but having made deaf first. I do not eat sign language. So my friends who are deaf, not the ones who are learning, because I can communicate with them deaf.
I don't make effort to make hearing friends because I'm a very shy person.
Next, we asked, if you were invited to a party that had mostly deaf teenagers, would you go? Why or why not? Here are their responses.
If I was invited to a party where I knew there was more hearing impaired, I would go. I know sign language. I don't feel uncomfortable around it. And I would bring hearing friends, see what it's like, because I've learned a lot about the deaf culture and I enjoy it.
Sure. I might feel a little uncomfortable because I can't sign myself because I'd feel bad that I couldn't sign myself, but yeah, I'd go if they were my friends.
I probably would not go to a party that had hearing impaired students because I would not be able to communicate with them properly, and I probably would just, hang around the people who, did, hear, I guess.
Yeah, I would go, but just as the hearing impaired wants to feel like they're involved, I want to be able to know what they're talking about. So if there is some way that I can understand or somebody interpreting for me, then I would go.
Let's listen to our staff as they were asked. Would you go to a party with hearing people?
If I were to go to a party where they had hearing people, it would be difficult because there would be a lot of group conversation. What I would do is I would just try to find one friendly-looking person and single him or her out of the crowd and just have a one-on-one conversation with him.
Yes, I'd go to that party if I knew there were a lot of hearing people there. If they are my friends, I could go there. If my friends are not there, I might not go because I would not be comfortable with them. I could become lonely at that party.
I have gone to an all-hearing party, and I always have a lot of fun with them because they always talk with us. And they tell us things like how to get a girl or anything to do it.
If I were invited to a party that had hearing kids, I would most definitely go, since the majority of my friends are hearing friends, that I feel most comfortable with my hearing friends. If I go to a party where there's deaf people, I feel more obligated to sign, and I don't feel comfortable with my sign language. Therefore, I go to hearing parties more.
Yes, I would go to a hearing party if the people there knew sign and I could talk to them.
I wouldn't go to a party with hearing people. I wouldn't feel comfortable with them. It's not my party, and they're not my friends. But my feelings is that I'm sad because I can't be friends with them.
The third question was regarding popularity. Our staff wanted to know, is it possible for a deaf person to become popular with hearing people? Let's see what they had to say.
Yeah, it's possible for hearing impaired students to become popular, because I know a couple kids that, yeah, actually got to be quite popular, and they were, they had hearing impaired and stuff. So yeah, it's possible.
If the other students are willing to let them be popular, or just not take them in, but be friends with them and everything, and if there's no problems, sure, why not?
I think it's possible for those people to be popular. I mean, if they make the effort to learn how to speak.
Sure, I think it's possible for anyone to be popular with their hearing or not.
No, it's not impossible for a hearing impaired to be popular. They have just as many qualifications in sports or anything else as we do.
Our staff then responded to the same question.
A deaf person can be popular if he is in both activity where he is well known, or runs for student government, then he can become popular.
I mean, has person is less likely to be popular because those are the things that seem to make any person popular in high school.
Well, I've never seen a deaf person be popular in a hearing school.
No, I don't think so. Because I think that hearing people think that deaf people are dumb.
If they didn't use their voice and if they just signed only, they wouldn't be popular in the hearing world, because I don't feel that a large variety or a large population of the hearing person in general is patient enough with the deaf person to really take the time out to, deal with the signs and communicate with them.
The fourth question asks, would you take a deaf person out on a date? If yes, what would you do on a date? Let's see what they had to say.
I would take a hearing impaired person out on a date if I wanted to, get to know them better, and if I liked them, whether or not they can hear or are hard of hearing doesn't matter. I'd still go out with them.
Yeah, I would take a hearing impaired on a date. I have before. It's fun. There's a lot of things to do. It's not like you can't go to a movie. You can stop and explain. You can go to a park. You can go for walks.
I don't think I would. I would take them to out on a date because it's already hard for me to communicate with my ex-boyfriend. So, and then he's not a deaf person, so I guess I wouldn't, do that.
I haven't thought of it because I haven't gone on a date.
Our junior staff would then ask, would you date a hearing person? And what would you do on that date? Let's find out.
I used to think that if I would go out with a hearing person, or if I would have a hearing boyfriend, I would depend on him too much. But in fact, I have a hearing boyfriend now, and I wouldn't say our relationship is different. I would just say it's special because of my impairment.
Yes, I would like to go out on a date, and I don't know where my date would take me. There's a variety of places that would be good for us.
Really, it depends on the girl. What I think of, really, there are all kinds of girls who are interested in boys and deaf culture. Really, it's not easy to find the perfect girl. No one is perfect.
I've been dating a hearing girl for the past year and a half. So yes, obviously I would enjoy going out on a date with a hearing person. What would I do on a date? What wouldn't I do on a date?
Yes, I would go out with a hearing girl on a date, and we would go slow dancing.
The next question is a little more serious. Our staff wants to know how they are viewed by their hearing peers in their class. Their teacher was also asked to respond. The question was, are deaf students treated better or worse in their class? And how do you feel about that?
I feel that hearing impaired are treated a little bit worse to others that don't know their culture. I enjoy having them in my class because I can communicate with them. But a lot of comments are made behind their backs, and I tend to stop it and help them.
Individually, teachers talk with students to try to help them and tutor them, and I see nothing wrong with taking a little bit of time out to help hearing impaired students.
They never really stop the class and ask. Sometimes they'll ask the interpreter, are they doing okay? Do you want me to slow down? But he never stops the class, looks over to one of the deaf people and says, are you catching this?
I think the only thing, honestly, I could answer is sometimes certain students, hard of hearing students, may use their disability as a crutch. I have either they've been athletes or even in my classroom where they'll act like they really don't understand or hear you, and they really do. And it's like anybody else in our society they may have a disability that they use crutches at some time or another in their life.
The junior staff then responded to how they feel they are treated by their hearing impaired and teacher in school.
How do I feel about having extra treatment in class? I think it's a good thing because if you don't understand what's happening in class, the teacher would ask. If you understood, you have an interpreter that would translate things for you in class. And you would want to do well in class because the teacher is always giving extra attention to you. You wouldn't want to disappoint the teacher for failing.
A lot of times in the classroom, the hearing kids will want to borrow my notes. And they think that since I have a note taker, that my note taker is a skilled note taker. And basically, they're just a student like I am or like they are. But they never ask the person next to them, the hearing person next to them. They always seek out the deaf person and borrow their notes.
I think that deaf people are treated badly than the other students in classes because they give special attention to the teachers. I feel that it is good for the teachers to help them out more often because the teachers should realize that it is harder for the deaf students to understand what is going on, especially if the deaf student has to witness.
Some teachers are very generous-hearted, and they give to the student like notes for the class or a lot more attention and all that. Sometimes it's embarrassing for the deaf students, yes, but on the other hand, there are those teachers who think lowly of deaf people and actually believe that they are not capable of anything. And that attitude shows to the deaf student and can actually cause this deaf student to do poorly.
The last question asked by our staff produced even more provocative and disturbing responses. We must consider that our hearing students have some education on issues regarding the hearing impaired. The question was, have you ever seen discrimination in your school? If yes, what do you do about it? The teacher was also asked to respond.
I think it's sometimes just taken for granted that maybe it's not discrimination. It could be more described as neglect, not intentional, unintentional, where sometimes you're not always aware of a student's needs or a student's maybe even wants.
Most people in the hearing people, they give gestures about deaf people, and I always want to get mad at them all the time because it's not right.
Yeah, I do see discrimination to those deaf people because, like, I remember in PE class, people used to, other students used to laugh at them, and they used to throw balls at them, and then laughing at the way they communicate and all this stuff. I didn't like it, but it was I felt sorry for them.
Well, every once in a while you'll see kids, teasing the hearing impaired kids, not to their faces and stuff, but amongst themselves, and that kind of bothers me. But normally, as a whole, the classes usually don't discriminate against the hearing impaired students at all. It's usually pretty good.
During break and lunch hours, I feel there's a lot of segregation because the hearing impaired students hang out in a certain part of the school, and then the other students would just, they go to their each different places and stuff. And there is segregation, but in the classroom, there really usually isn't.
Then the junior staff was asked, have you experienced discrimination at your school?
Yes, I see people making fun of deaf people because they think, the hearing people think that the deaf people don't understand what's going on during class time and all that time. And it makes me feel angry that they make fun of them because we're all the same. I mean, the problem is that they can't hear, and that's it. I mean, but it makes me really upset about it, that they just make fun of them.
My deaf friends feel bad because hearing people look at us and they hate us. Why do you hate us? Why do you hate us?
I do, and I have been treated badly when I was a freshman. Yes, a freshman in a hearing high school. But after that, they stopped teasing me because they got used to me. I guess they still need to get used to the deaf. I think they realize the deaf are not retarded.
Hearing and deaf youth, friends or foe. We can see that having both hearing and deaf integrated in school has affected the point of view of both sides. However, there are still misunderstandings. Some of the material presented here from both the hearing and the hearing impaired stains of harsh reality. At least the responses were honest. Judging from my own experience in school, I think the students have come a long way. But if we want these attitudes on both sides to change, it will only come with more and more exposure and education. I hope you have enjoyed this video and it has given you some insight into the world of the hearing and hearing impaired young people today. Most importantly, we hope you have gained an understanding on how positively the hearing impaired youth see themselves.
I think the deaf people could be successful because if they work hard for it, they will be successful. But I think the hearing people, it's wrong to be thinking that we can't make it. But we could if we study hard for it and work hard for it, we could make it.
I think I'm going to be very successful because I have the best of both worlds. I have both the, I have the hearing world backing me up, and I feel that I have the deaf community backing me up. So I think I can be very successful in both the hearing and the deaf communities.
The deaf can succeed. Yes, I think so. Only if you think positive. Think positive, then you can do it. It's easy, just like the hearing. Just think positive. Like the words, deaf can do anything except hear. That makes me feel wonderful. Just think positive. If you think negative, you're dead.
It is a common misconception among hearing people when they think just because a deaf person can't hear, like they are also deficient in any other potential they might have. While that might be true for some deaf people who are born with other handicaps, the majority of deaf people are as capable as hearing people are. They can do anything hearing people can do except hear.